This is the Tom McConnell Show on the Voice of Niagara, News Talk 610 CKTB.
All this month, it is the Help Kids Shine campaign, and if you want to see how you can make a donation, there's lots of ways to do it, helpkidshine.ca. And while you're there, if you haven't thought about where you're going to get dinner from tonight, listen, it's Friday, it's gorgeous. Do you want to be in the kitchen cooking? Check out the Eat Local page. Let me just say that. Check out the Eat Local page, get some delicious meals, and help out the Niagara Children's Center at the same time. Joining me on the program, Sheena Earhart is a social worker and team lead at the Niagara Children's Center, where she supports families from intake through to the transition to junior kindergarten. And as a social worker, takes the time to advocate and engage with families and to provide encouragement and solution-focused support to parents. Sheena, happy Friday. How are you?
Happy Friday. I'm really good. Thanks for having me, Tom.
No problem. I know in our little pre-interview, while the commercials are playing, you were telling me about all the plans you have for this weekend.
So many.
You had a list of things you were going to do, which not much, really. No. Just enjoy some sunshine.
Definitely. I'm definitely a big outside person, so I'll spend some time hanging out outside.
Awesome, because it's going to be absolutely gorgeous. All right, so how long have you been at the center?
Oh, I've been at the center just about 3 years. In November it'll be.
Okay, and then what drew you to it? I mean, for me, I have this job just because of the low paycheck. Right?
Yes.
And that's it. And that's it. I'm like, all right, no problem. I'm in. No, we're all drawn to our vocation for different reasons. And what first drew you to the center to work there?
So for me, it's kind of an interesting full loop story. I started volunteering at Niagara Children's Center as a student from Brock University way back when, in what used to be called the Stepping Stones program. And there was a social worker that was part of that program. And I said to her, someday I'll work here. Fast forward many years later, it's her last year of work and before she retires, and I get hired and I get to work with her for a month, and then I get to work at Niagara Children's Center. So it was kind of like a long-term dream where I got to, meet these great families and kids and volunteer with them and see the joy that brought these little amazing kids brought to their lives and be a part of helping them through that process. And I just really wanted to keep that going in my life. But I had to do some schooling first, so it took some time. But
wow,
once I got there.
That is amazing, because I often talk about, right across from Brock is this sort of nondescript building that you pass by all the time, and even the name itself is a little vague. Right, the Niagara Children's Center could be anything. What is it? So it's this building that it's long way, so it's a small facing front, and it's across from Brock. And I imagine 95% of students have no idea. And we're lucky that you were like, hey, I'd like to see what's going on over there. And I was like, I want to work here. This is exactly where I want to work. That's a pretty cool story.
It's really amazing when you walk in the building, you light up because there's drawings on the walls and it's colorful and everybody is so kind. The first week I worked there, I knew that was where I wanted to be. So it was really amazing to be welcomed in with the group of social workers and team that I work with there. So as a social worker, I work on a team with an occupational therapist and a speech language pathologist and a physiotherapist. And they're amazing. I wouldn't trade my experience for anything.
Now, as we were kind of joking that the Niagara Children's Center is a little vague, social worker is also one of those terms where it's kind of amorphous. I'm like, I think I know, but it depends maybe on the agency or the institution. So tell me, what do you do exactly for your clients and your families? What is your role in the whole thing?
Absolutely. And you're absolutely right. The interesting thing with the word social work is that it could really apply to a variety of different ways to support people. And my particular role is, our social work role at the center is very geared towards supporting families as they're here with us and experiencing these changes in their lives and in their child's lives. So really a big role that we have is support for families. We provide encouragement, empowerment, those kinds of things. We sit with them in appointments and, be their sounding board as needed. Really getting in there and just helping parents understand what this, maybe it's a transition to school process, or, maybe we're reframing how we look at our new child to us now, or maybe we're experiencing the community in a new way now, and we need different resources and different things to engage with our kiddos in. Sometimes it's connecting families to families, because that is the best support that any family could ever receive, is someone in their shoes. So really just there to help guide them and support them through the process of being at the Children's Center.
I imagine one of the great things for you, but also maybe one of the challenges, is every day may be new, right? Mm-hmm. That who knows? Oh, you have an appointment book, and you probably have, right? It's like, yes. Okay, so I have something coming up at noon, but you don't know what's going on. Like, what would you have such an atypical role there, if you will, or each day is atypical, but can you describe a semi-typical day of
Absolutely.
of when you arrive, and then what happens next?
Yeah, so typically if I'm going into the building, I have this wonderful office filled with other social workers. So we, of course, walk in, check our calendars. And usually, again, if I was in center, I would go and check in with the first family the team is seeing. So that's going into a therapy appointment, checking in with them. How's your therapy appointment going? How are things? What's new and exciting? Checking in with the parents, maybe sharing like, oh, check out this new resource, or let me connect you with this program that's happening, different things like that. Then maybe I'll take a phone call, and that's a mom that might be in distress and really needing, or a dad really needing that extra support. I got this letter in the mail from the government. I don't know what it means. Can you please help me figure this out? Absolutely, no problem. We walk through that. Maybe someone else calls, a caregiver, like my grandson, he really needs to be in daycare, but I don't understand this one list. I don't understand what registering him looks like. Okay, let's get together and let's go through that together. So really just helping families navigate the systems in our world and supporting them through it is really kind of a big day in the life of a social worker. It's interesting because it's a variety of different needs that come. And the answer is always, let me see how I can help you. It's never, no, I can't do that. Finding out someone else maybe that can help them, connecting them with that person, something like that.
It was so interesting you just used the word connect, because I said, you know what you are? You're a connector. That's what you do. You're right. You're not the expert, but you know how to guide families through the system. They've never gone through it before. You have experience of other families who you've helped along the way. You're the advocate, where you can say, hey, this is what worked for this family. This is what this child responded to. Or as you said, the best support is another family. Let me connect you to. Let me bring them together. You're the connector, right? That as a social worker, you're probably connecting the physiotherapist and the occupational therapist, right? And the speech therapist. All of those people, in a way, you have to connect, and then maybe with school or community resources, you're the connector. You're the glue, if you will, Sheena. That as parents, I know, like, totally different system, but I know one of the problems we have for long-term care is people are often on their own, that they don't know what's happening, they don't know what's next, that we don't have this system in place. But for this system, we do. We have people like you who help parents who are like, okay, where do I go? Parents want the best for their kids. Parents want, nothing but the best for their kids, but may not know where to start, may not know where to go, or in some cases, government bureaucracy can be difficult, right? And you're the one who's like, okay, here's what we have to do. Here's what someone needs to be the guide along the way. And it sounds like that's your role. You guide people.
There are 5 of us, luckily, at the Children's Center. I know that wasn't always the case. So there are 5 wonderful people there that are in this role and able to help guide a variety of different ages as well. So from 0 to 4, there's a team. And then from 5, the school age group, to 18, there's a team as well. So there's 5 of us dedicated to this guiding for families. So our goal, of course, as social work is to make sure we're able to help people, like you're saying, and guide them to what they need.
What's your age? Are you 0 to 4 or 5 to 19?
I'm a 0 to 4. Yes.
How tough is it when they move? How tough is it when they move on? They're like, bye, Miss Sheena. Is it difficult for you to see them go on to the next level?
Yeah. Right now we're in that sort of transition to school phase. We're working together with families and the school boards to make a great transition to school for families. So that is always the time where you get to kind of brag a little bit about this amazing little kiddo and their families and all the work that they've done. to continue understanding how they grow and how their typical life is and sharing that with the school. So kind of an exciting moment, probably a little scary for, maybe first-time parents, but it's an exciting moment to watch these kiddos go off to junior kindergarten next year as they have these skills.
Sorry, how difficult has it been this last year with on again, off again schooling, where, we last spring at this point we're like we don't think we're going back, but in September we'll go back. We'd been out for 2 months and then we go back, and then you come out in December for an extended break, then we're back to school. All right, here we go, and then we're out again. How difficult has it been? Now I know, as you said, 0 to 4, so your guys are a little younger, but they they're at home often. Mom and dad then have to be at home. So there must be some anxiety with families, this yo-yoing, if you will, of in school and out of school. And they probably have older siblings as well that you may not have dealt with. But I mean, that's these family pressures, right? As we're trying to accommodate everyone in the school area. I mean, it's like, you've got needs, I've got needs, we've got needs. I mean, at my house, I have, luckily my oldest school year is done. She's in university, but I have 2, one in grade 10, one in grade 8. My wife is trying to run her business. I'm trying to broadcast a daily talk show from the basement. But I imagine there are families like there. This is typical. Lots of families are having to juggle their needs and concerns.
And these parents, honestly, some days I go home and I just want to shout it from the rooftops how amazing they are, because the juggling and the stress that they have, 2 kids at home. This one's supposed to be in daycare, but now they can't be in daycare. And this one's supposed to be in school, but they're learning in this corner. And like you said, dad's running the business here. Oh, now we need to go to an appointment. Now what do we do? So they've been amazing with, letting us know, and we will work with families, of course, what schedule works best for you. We've seen people, sometimes as early as 8 a.m. for them to come in to meet the right criteria for their schedule. So they've just been, this is hard. We're recognizing this is hard, but, how can we work together? And they're just so resilient in that way, that they've got so much on their plate, but they're willing to continue to come in for therapy.
Sheena, I got to leave it there. Absolutely delightful to talk to you on a Friday afternoon. It is so gorgeous out. Make sure you get outside, enjoy the weather, enjoy the weekend. Thanks so much for joining us today, but also thanks so much for what you do at the center, and for your team as well, right? As we said, it's one of those jobs where you're not quite sure, right? Like your colleagues who are physical therapists, it's like, oh, I know what you do. But social worker, it's like, okay, what do you do? What is your role? And it's like, now I know your role. Now I better understand. That's it. Exactly. Sheena, I appreciate it. Thanks so much for joining us, and have a great afternoon.
Thanks for your time, Tom. Have a great day.
Sheena Earhart is a social worker at the Niagara Children's Center. And if you want to help kids shine, go to the website, helpkidsshine.ca. helpkidsshine.ca. And while you're there, you can look at a number of ways you can give back to the center. Become a monthly donor. We have 2 terrific sponsors, Freedom Mobile, Walker Industry, that are both matching your donation. So when you make, let's say, a $20 donation, you make a $50 donation, they're going to match it. They're going to both put in, not together, not going to split it. They're both going to put in an extra 20 or an extra 50. So you put in 20, Walker puts in 20, Freedom puts in 20. Your 20 now becomes 60. That's an amazing way to help out the Niagara Children's Center during our Help Kids Shine campaign. 3:41 is our